So with many movies over the last couple of years, a very prominent way to be able to tell if people are kind of interested in it is going into Rotten Tomatoes and seeing what the audience is saying, and then of course seeing what the tomato meter is saying, because a lot of times now that is directly correlating and responding to how many ticket sales and how much interest your film is gathering, which is something that I think a decade ago a lot of people would have just looked at and been like, nah, that's never going to happen, but that's how these things move. And of course, lately, there's been a lot of movies that have gotten the certified fresh or a fresh rating, and they do tremendously well. And subsequently, there's movies like the competition's Justice League where it comes out and it gets a rotten, and you talk to people that, you know, go to the movie theater, or people that might have wanted to see it, to go, I don't know if I'm going to watch that, and they generally respond with, well, Rotten Tomatoes says it's bad, so I don't know if I want to waste my money. Now, that's rather interesting how this paradigm shift has happened with people, and, you know, you really got to think about Rotten Tomatoes and the power it has now. But people have asked me, do I think Infinity War would get hurt if it had a Rotten Tomatoes score or anything like that? And honestly, I don't think any Marvel movie is going to be hurt by a rotten score if it ever happens. I don't think Rotten Tomatoes has any bearing on the MCU as much as you think, but especially Avengers Infinity War or an Avengers movie, because people trust these movies now. Over the last decade, they've developed a trust. That trust is what's important to people, and if suddenly a Rotten Tomatoes score comes out and it's terrible, are people really going to listen to it knowing, well, I like the other one, so how bad could it be, right? I mean, Age of Ultron, like, what was it, Thor the Dark World, those weren't necessarily the most favorable, but people still went and saw them and loved them. So that's the thing, right? Like, I don't think that's going to matter anymore. I just think the MCU is an established brand, and you even look at some of the, like, TV shows connected to it. Iron Fist, that went through the roof on views, even though the Rotten Tomatoes score was bad, and people know that's associated with the MCU. Inhumans, well, that's ABC, and it wasn't really marketed well at all, but it sustained Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. ratings, which they're happy to bring that show around. So just think about that for a second. Rotten Tomatoes has a lot of impact on people viewing stuff, but I don't think it has much bearing on the MCU, honestly, and I think it's going to stay like that for the foreseeable future. Other studios have to earn your trust, and they haven't done that yet. Marvel's earned your trust over 5 years ago, so they can just kind of do whatever they want.